and a very warm welcome to all of you. Hope everybody is well. India have completed a clean sweep in the ODI series. Shubman Gill, the player of the match as well as the player of the series. Who would have thought it's now Shubman Gill who's being looked as their backup opener for the ODI World Cup next year. But hey, it's time for T20 internationals. There is, in these times, in international cricket, you don't get as much break in the middle. So here we are previewing the T20 series. And it's an important format, a more important format than ODIs in this year, especially less than 3 months away from the T20 World Cup. Big guns are returning to the side. Rohit Sharma will be leading the Indian team. Hardik Pandya is back in the side. Rishabh Pant is there. Bhuvneshwar Kumar is there. And Ravichandran Ashwin is going to be playing this T20I series in place of Yuzvendra Chahal, who's been rested. So what is happening now that every time the Indian team plays a T20I series, it's an opportunity for the senior players to get back to their best form possible. They want to get runs, and for some of the other fringe players to figure out what their roles are in the side and, an opportunity to solidify their place in the team. Nikhil Narayan is here with me as we look ahead to the T20I series. Things are changing very quickly, Nikhil, but this is an important series. West Indies came close to changing that scoreline in the ODI series more than once. So they were a competitive outfit and they're a better team in T20Is. We can expect some close matches. But for the Indian team, important right now to get some of those what would you say, fringe players to figure out what their roles are in the team?
Absolutely. This series is, perhaps the last chance, Meha, for India to streamline their best possible 15.
Yeah.
Because after this series, only a handful of matches remain till that mega event starts in Australia in October. We have the Asia Cup we have, I think, Australia and South Africa coming to India just ahead of the T20 World Cup. So this India, Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid and the think tank would want to select their best 15. At the end of the series, India should have their best 15 and also an idea of what their first playing 11 would be. There are some pressing questions. Virat Kohli at number 3 or Deepak Hooda, that unfortunately won't be answered by the end of the series because Virat is not playing. But also this reserve opener. Who will be India's reserve opener? This is a big thing. Rishabh Pant. How to fit Rishabh Pant in India's 11 is also a big question. So some pressing questions for India. India start favourites because of their record, unbelievable record in the format last 2 years. But West Indies, it won't be a cakewalk because this is the format which West Indies, put their best foot forward in.
That's right. They are better in this format than they are in the ODIs. But what is interesting, when you see those numbers, India have been phenomenal since the T20 World Cup, last T20 World Cup. They won most of the bilateral series, I think, barring one, which they drew against South Africa.
Correct.
My question then is to you as well as the Indian fans that given how well they've done in these bilateral series, do you still see an sort of aura of invincibility around this T20I outfit? That's my question. I mean, you could go on winning these bilateral series, but this team, do you see this team, just going out there and demolishing opponents in the T20 World Cup? And there's not much time left for it. I
mean, I would have said India almost invincible in T20I cricket, but they don't have an ICC trophy, and that is the problem. The Australian team of the late 1990s and 2000s, they also dominated these bilateral series in ODI cricket and Test cricket, but they also won one World Cup after the other. They won 3 World Cups successively. India doesn't have an ICC trophy since the Champions Trophy in 2013. It is a big problem, and it is for that reason primarily that Virat Kohli was axed and Rohit Sharma, who's won Mumbai Indians 5 titles, was sort of made the captain across formats. So India needs, for India to dominate and be, India needs this ICC trophy. Therefore, India needs the World T20 this year or the World Cup next year at home. Otherwise, you may be the #1 ranked team, which India are in the ICC rankings in T20I cricket.
Yeah.
They have won 12 of their last 15 bilateral series. They've drawn 2 and They've lost only one, that too in Sri Lanka, when we send a C-grade team, not even a B-grade team in July last year. So therefore, you know, India need that ICC trophy. Otherwise, it's like, I'll compare this to, you know, tennis, where in women's tennis, and this is my grudge in women's tennis, you know, you see a lot of these East Europeans and Russians, you know, they don't win a Grand Slam, but they're still world #1 by reaching the semi-finals, by doing well in ATP tours, ATP 1000 events, but they don't win Grand Slams, but they're still #1. That doesn't count. You have to win a Grand Slam. Therefore, India has to win an ICC trophy to be that team.
I also feel that some of the questions that are being asked of this Indian team ahead of the T20 World Cup, the answers we have not yet been found. Virat Kohli's place in the side will be questioned. I think till even before the World Cup begins, I think people will be talking about whether Virat Kohli should be in the side given the kind of form that he's going through. He's already taken a break. People have 1,000 opinions on this, that, you know, should he have taken a break? Should he have, you know, played this series? But then that brings me to the next point, that Deepak Hooda gets the opportunity in this series. I'm guessing he will get an opportunity in this series at #3 in the absence of Virat Kohli.
Correct.
And what if he ends up scoring a lot of runs here?
This was the same question you asked me.
And it continues, it carries on. That's what I'm saying.
This is
the way Deepak Hooda has been batting.
Correct.
The template that India has been following of this going all out aggressive, that kind of approach, Deepak Hooda fits that bill perfectly. Why would you then not take him? And then isn't that a lost opportunity for him as well as for the Indian team if they don't end up doing well?
It is. And if it was any other player, you know, Deepak Hooda would have replaced him by now and would be a certainty at #3 for India, given what he has achieved in the IPL and for India in the limited opportunities. But again, as the likes of Ricky Ponting, Sunil Gavaskar and Kevin Peters and several other legends have said, it's not any other player. It is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, limited overs batsman in the two formats combined history. That is Virat Kohli. And therefore, even you have to take a chance, even though he's been in terrible form in the last 3 years, or almost in 3 years. And therefore, I think, unfortunately, right or wrong, it's very difficult to say from here, right or wrong, I think Virat, irrespective, whatever happens, I think Virat Kohli will play at #3 for India. Deepak Hooda will have to be adjusted in the World T20 I'm talking about.
Okay, let's also talk about that aggressive template. You were seeing some of the numbers there and the change that we've seen with Rohit Sharma taking over captaincy, saying that I want a very specific approach from my team, from my players, and I want everybody to be on the same page. And that has been to attack all the way. It's not just attacking in the power plays, in which they have improved, their run rate has improved, but also middle overs, and which we saw even in England, where if India were 3 down within the power plays, you'd still see, you know, Suryakumar Yadav come in and hit the first ball out of the park. And I think that has been the approach which they have adopted, but at the same time, it has worked for them.
Absolutely. If you see this template, has worked beautifully for India since their exit in the 2021 World T20. Since that New Zealand series, from which Rohit Sharma took over as full-time captain, Meya, if you see the run rate in the power play in the New Zealand series, 9.44. Against West Indies, then 8.33. If you see the next graphic, Sri Lanka, 8.4. England, almost 9. The recent series which we won 2-1. And this is, the run rate in the power play has gone up from 7.87 to 8.5. That's a huge jump from last year to this year. The middle overs also, as you were talking about, courtesy the likes of Hooda and Suryakumar Yadav primarily, India has the highest middle over run rate this season. It's as high as 9.27. I mean, that is sensational in the middle over phase of play. You know, earlier teams were content if it between 7 and 7.5. Now it's 9.27. Absolutely brilliant. And I think this is going to be the template. India is going to go all out in the power play and pretty much continue attacking all through the 20 overs unless they lose a number of wickets, earlier on. But this template is, I mean, we can't complain. It's giving results for India. They are the #1 team. They have won 1 bilateral series after the other. Most of the batsmen are in form. So, and this is the only template by which you can consistently beat top teams like England in this format.
That's right. What do you think, if you're watching us, what do you think about whether India should let Rishabh Pant open in this series? Given that he was given the opportunity twice in the England series, and in one he scored 26 and one he was out for 1. So again, too early to really give a verdict on whether that worked or not. Having said that, the fact that the team management thought that was the right decision, that makes me believe that I think they will put him as the opener in this series as well.
They will definitely give him more chances. See, because Rishabh Pant, the middle order batsman, has failed. The T20I batsman I'm talking about, the numbers are very poor. Just around 4 or 5 high impact knocks in 44 innings. That is a long rope. So he hasn't done well in the T20I format specifically, but given his talent, given his exploits in Test cricket, the recent century in England, in ODI cricket, they cannot let Rishabh Pant go. Rishabh Pant is like gold for them, and they know what, if he gets that one, match defining score in T20I cricket, he may get a string of scores and he could be a, match winner in the World T20. There's no reason why he shouldn't do well in this format. The batsman of his caliber and the kind of destructive stroke play he has, and he's done well in the IPL in the past. In 2017 or so, he was scoring 600, 700 runs. So, Rishabh Pant will be given a chance, I think, at the top of the order where he fits in. Also because I think Jadeja, Hardik, Dinesh Karthik, they are the hitters in the lower order. So you need that Rishabh Pant on top of the order. Left and right also works well for India.
And I also feel they will persist with him after what you've done. Like what you were saying, even in the ODIs, just the way he's batted, they will. There's no clarity on Ravindra Jadeja as of now. I don't think there's been any official statement as of now where they've, said whether he's going to be playing or not. So we don't have a clarity on that. What we know is KL Rahul's out of it, which then brings me to the next question. Suryakumar Yadav, how good has he been? Before this year began, with the kind of debut that Shreyas Iyer had in Test cricket,
correct.
At one point you thought he has pipped Suryakumar Yadav for that middle order spot, even in the limited overs in given, the class that he was batting with. But Suryakumar Yadav came in and he's changed it all. Now, at the moment, if you have to talk about one player who is among the best in T20, in world cricket, it's Suryakumar Yadav, along with Johnny Bairstow. Yes.
Absolutely. Suryakumar Yadav in T20I cricket, it's been a great start for, his T20I record is sensational. I mean, his strike rate is in high 170s, which, it's the highest in T20I history, highest in T20I history, minimum of 500 runs, which is phenomenal. The series against England, 171 runs, striking at 200, batting in the top order. I mean, that is just unbelievable from Suryakumar Yadav. His career changed, from 2020, from Mumbai Indians, when he changed from an accumulator to an aggressor for the first time in his career. And since then, he hasn't looked back. Although he had a disappointing ODI series, but against England, against West Indies, but I won't look into. Disappointing 30 runs in 3 matches, but I won't be concerned. It's Suryakumar Yadav. T20 is a different ball game.
Even if out of 5 matches he can give us one innings of 117 or 55 balls, I'll take that over anything else. I mean, some of those shots from that innings imprinted in your mind. Incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, he is just, as you say, he is India's A.B. de Villiers. He's the 360 degrees player. I mean, he had the kind of shots he has in T20I cricket. I've seldom seen any other batsman. So he is extremely talented in the prime of his life. Currently, he is India's, best batsman in T20Is.
Okay, from Suryakumar Yadav, then let's also talk about the re-emergence rather, of Bhuvneshwar Kumar. This year, how incredible. I mean, Bhuvneshwar Kumar gets injured, loses his swing. People are talking about, is this the end of Bhuvneshwar Kumar? And in he comes, swinging the ball both ways. England batsmen all over the place, don't know what's hit them. And we were looking at the numbers. We were discussing this before the show began. He's got by far the best economy this year.
Absolutely.
And that includes, Yuzvendra Chahal's there in that list. Jasprit Bumrah has played just 3 T20Is, but incredible. I think he is going to be in my playing 11 for the World Cup.
No, 100%. He is in fact currently India's best bet with the new ball. I would say even ahead of Jasprit Bumrah. He's been phenomenal since 2021. The last 2 years, look at those numbers, 29 wickets at a strike rate of 16 odd since 2021. Those are brilliant numbers. In the same period, Meya, where Jasprit Bumrah, as we were discussing, wasn't doing well. He wasn't picking wickets with the new ball. Bhuvneshwar Kumar led from the front in the power play. Economy has always been his strength, 6.67. In the power play, look at that economy with the fielding restrictions since 2021. Last 2 years, just 5.54, amongst the best in the world.
Yeah.
Also, lately he started picking wickets in the power play also. 16 wickets in the power play is the second highest, I think, only after Josh Hazelwood, if I'm not mistaken, in these last 1.5 years. So, Bhuvneshwar Kumar for me is currently India's best bowler in the first 6 overs, not only restricting the opposition batsman, but also picking crucial wickets.
Okay. Then, the other change is Yuzvendra Chahal. He's been brilliant since the IPL. We've seen in limited overs just the way he's been bowling, but he sits out of this series. They've named Ravichandran Ashwin, who last played a T20 international in November 2021. It's been a while, and I am wondering what was the thinking behind it. Do you believe that the team management thinks that he's in their plans for the World Cup, or are they just trying out all the options? And given how good Ravichandran Ashwin has been with red ball, he's been, one of the greats for Indian cricket. Is that the reason why they're trying him here?
I think that is the reason, and his overall T20I record is also, it's quite good actually. 61 wickets, I think, in 51 matches. The strike rate is quite decent. The economy has always been in his stronger suit. So he is a very good T20 bowler. It's just that, he's 35. Fitness hasn't been, his strong suit. So therefore, R. Ashwin actually doesn't fit into this new Indian 11. For the World T20, but given that he's a thinking bowler, he's done well in the past for India, and what he brings, great record against left-handers across formats. So therefore, this is his last chance. If he may get a game or two in the West Indies series, but if he doesn't do well, I think it will be bye-bye for Ashwin, at least from T20I cricket.
Yeah, so, because I think you want to move forward in T20I cricket. That's the format where you're giving all the youngsters a chance, an opportunity. You're easing some of the older players out. It's through T20s that we've seen that. So I wonder why they've gone back and got Ravichandran Ashwin. They should be playing him in Test cricket, which they don't. And then we've had conversations around that as to why he's made to sit out. But then in his place, they get Ravindra Jadeja, who ends up scoring runs as and when he's given opportunities. So it's a difficult one for the team as well, but Ravichandran Ashwin in T20Is, I don't know.
It is a difficult one. Also, I think if you see who are our bowlers in T20I, there's Jadeja, left-arm orthodox, there's Aksar, left-arm orthodox, Bishnoi is a leg spinner, Chahal is a leg spinner, Kuldeep is left-arm Chinaman. So where is the world-class off-spinner in the T? That's for variety and experience.
I get
maybe.
That, yes.
So that could be the only reason, but this is his last chance. Yeah.
So do you want to make a prediction on the series? Yeah, 4-1, -5-0. Clean sweep by India.
Wow. Okay, let me give West Indies one match. 4-1 India.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think the momentum's with India, and after that ODI series, I don't see. I think they must have been broken by that. Given they did everything. West Indies did everything. They were asked to bat 50 overs. They did that in 2 matches. Still couldn't cross the line. And, that's...
Yeah, India will be very difficult to beat. Even with four of their main players not playing, to win, against India, this Indian unit, very, very difficult for the West Indies.
The knife has been shoved in and it's been twisted now. I feel it's a little difficult. But anyway, we'll get you all the latest from the series and from the Commonwealth Games. News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to, where we get interviews with medal winners. We're going to give you the stats and analysis of the Commonwealth Games, which begin tomorrow. 11:30 tonight is the opening ceremony. We're all excited about it, and we'll be covering it extensively right here on News 9 Sports. So do subscribe, press that bell icon for all your notifications every time we go live. That's it from Nikhil and me. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.